Right now, an active shooting investigation in Middleton after a woman opens fire at a car dealership.
Plus, demanding better working conditions as dozens of area nurses take to the street for a rally.
And later, how New York City is preparing for the potential arrest of former President Donald Trump. That and more straight ahead at 10. One person is hospitalized tonight after a shooting at a Middleton car dealership, and police say they now have a suspect in custody.
They have only identified the suspect as an adult woman. The victim, who is a man, was taken to the hospital, but we have not received an update on his condition. McKenna Alexander has the latest on today's shooting. McKenna?
Yeah, tonight Middleton police are continuing their investigation into what started today's shooting at MSI Auto Sales as nearby residents come to terms with the shock that this happened in their neighborhood.
I only hear ambulances go back and forth, but I'm not seeing there's not a whole lot of police presence, so pretty wild to see something like this happen.
Sam Krasnowski is one of many Middleton residents surprised to learn of Monday afternoon shooting in the 3000 block of Parmenter Street.
I was working, and all of a sudden, around, I don't know, it might have been around 1:30, and a bunch of cops came kind of pulling up, and just kind of been watching ever since, and knew it was a big deal once they started putting the caution tape around.
At 1:36 p.m. today, the Middleton Police Department responded to a report of gunfire and a victim down in the parking lot of the MSI Auto here on Parmenter Streets. Upon arrival, the officers located a victim, and that victim was transported to a local hospital.
Over a dozen squad cars could be seen in the area as police tape blocked off the dealership and its parking lot, where shattered glass could be seen.
Somewhere on the property here, we're still trying to sort that out, whether it's inside the business or in the parking lot.
A Middleton Cross Plains area school district spokesperson says nearby schools were also put into a secure hold around 2:30, but that was lifted shortly after around 2:45. Police stress there is no ongoing threat to the public, as they believe this incident was tied to an argument within the business and its employees.
It was not random. This was a dispute at this business, some altercation that happened here, some gunfire, but again, no threat to the greater community. We believe it's a dispute related to this business.
As of 3:40 Monday afternoon, a female adult was arrested in connection with the shooting, while the condition of the victim, a male adult, is still unknown. Police are still investigating today's shooting, so be sure to stick with us on air and online as we continue to learn more.
McKenna, thank you. Next tonight, bond has been set at $1 million cash for the Northern Illinois woman who's accused of killing her grandmother-in-law in Wisconsin. 30-year-old Shannon Bussin is charged with first-degree homicide in the death of 83-year-old Lynn Montgomery in the village of Benton. According to a criminal complaint, Bussin called 911 in February to report Montgomery had fallen and wasn't breathing. But the examination of Montgomery's body found multiple blunt force injuries and listed being smothered by a pillow among possible causes of death. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for March 28th.
New at 10, a police chase near Watertown today ended with a deadly crash on Highway 16, closing it down for several hours. Officers say they were trying to stop a vehicle for speeding when the driver took off. They eventually lost control and went off the road. One person was thrown from the vehicle and killed. Two others in the car were seriously hurt and taken to local hospitals. The Wisconsin State Patrol is handling the investigation since the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office was involved. Also new tonight, a man is in custody accused of stealing a funeral home van with a dead body inside of it. 23-year-old Dion Howard was arrested yesterday in Green Bay. Investigators say Howard stole the van from a funeral home in Rockford, Illinois in January. The body of a 47-year-old man was in the cargo area. Chicago police found the van the next day, but the body wasn't in it. Police say they found it at a nearby location 2 days after it was stolen.
Next tonight, today is the first official day of spring, and the weather will start to feel like it too. Here's Julian Seawright with our first alert forecast.
That's right, Charlotte. We already saw temperatures near 50 degrees for many of us here in southern Wisconsin. Had a bit of sunshine, breezy winds. It was a nice start to the first official day of spring. Now, for the rest of tonight, well, we could see potentially some activity later on, but right now it is rather dry. Cloudy, however, throughout much of southern Wisconsin, but we are potentially watching for a small little burst of a band of rain that could come overnight, but we'll be out of here by the time we get into our Tuesday morning. Throughout much of our Tuesday, temperatures will rise into the upper 40s. It's going to be a cloudy day, but those southerly winds will keep things into the milder side, low 50s and upper 40s throughout much of the afternoon. So that's one thing to look forward to, but also be prepared of potentially seeing a small little sprinkle of a shower later into our afternoon. Now, the night is going to be quiet for the most part, but again, we could see a potential of a quick little bit of a sprinkle or a shower late into the overnight hours. But overall, here's how things are going to be looking for us. Middle 30s, falling near 32 degrees once we get into the morning. And then for tomorrow, we're going to be near 50 degrees for us. We'll take a look at what else we can expect because we do have an active weather pattern. We'll break that down for you in a few moments. Until then, back to you.
We saw dozens of nurses rallying outside of their hospital, fighting for improvements in the middle of ongoing contract negotiations. Nurses at Unity Point Health Meriter want change and say they're being left with challenges every day that put patients' lives at risk. They're calling for more staff. They want MLK Day and Juneteenth as holidays, fair raises that reflect inflation, and meaningful collaboration with the administration. In a statement to News 3 Now, Unity Point Health Meriter says, in part, we are still in the middle of our negotiation process to finalize a new and fair contract with SEIU of Wisconsin. We have a long history of successful negotiations.
President Biden signed a bill into law today that will declassify intelligence on the origins of COVID-19. The bill unanimously passed both chambers of Congress earlier this month. It orders the National Intelligence Director to declassify all information on potential links between the virus and the Wuhan Institute of Virology in China. Information that could compromise national security will remain classified. In-person absentee voting for the April 4th election begins tomorrow in Madison. Voters will be able to cast their ballots at one of more than 24 polling places all across the city. We have a breakdown of those locations on channel3000.com. Tomorrow, News 3 Now will be hosting the one and only Supreme Court debate between Daniel Kelly and Janet Protasewicz. It will be held at the State Bar Association and will feature traditional format with opening statements, timed answers and rebuttals, and closing statements. This will air at 4 p.m.
About 2 weeks before the April 4th election, Madison's police union says it's endorsing Gloria Reyes, a former member of the Madison Police Department, for mayor. Today, the Madison Professional Police Officers Association made the endorsement official in a news release issued this morning, highlighting Reyes' history as a former MPD detective. And a reminder, News 3 Now will also be hosting a mayoral debate next Monday. We will live stream it on channel3000.com and our social media pages from 7 to 8 p.m. It will then re-air on Tuesday at 4 p.m. on News 3 Now. You can also submit questions that you would like to ask. We have the information on how to do that on our website. A law enforcement source tells CBS News former President Trump is not expected to be indicted today or tomorrow, but that could come later this week.
Still, preparations are underway in New York, both for possible protest as well as for the unprecedented logistics of arresting, handcuffing, and fingerprinting a former president. CBS's Astrid Martinez is outside Manhattan Criminal Court with those details.
Police in Lower Manhattan are setting up barriers in anticipation of protests after former President Trump posted on social media that he is going to be arrested. The Manhattan District Attorney is investigating allegations that Trump falsified business records linked to a hush money payment to former porn star Stormy Daniels. The 2024 presidential candidate is urging his supporters to protest and take our nation back.
They're a different group that could come in armed. They could come in with explosives.
Intelligence sources are telling CBS News that they are seeing a significant increase in threats towards law enforcement, judges, and government officials in New York.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
Trump has long denied the accusations, while Daniels told 60 Minutes in 2018 that she was paid by Trump fixer Michael Cohen to keep quiet about an alleged affair.
I was concerned for my family and their safety.
On Monday, the Manhattan grand jury heard from the potential final witness in the case, Trump ally Robert Costello. He says Cohen has no credibility and acted without Trump's knowledge.
If they want to go after Donald Trump and they have solid evidence, so be it. But Michael Cohen is far from solid evidence.
Trump also faces criminal probes in Georgia and Washington related to his attempts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Astrid Martinez, CBS News, New York.
Today, Trump's attorneys also asked a Georgia court to quash a report from the special grand jury investigating the attempts to pressure state and local election officials.
Portions of the grand jury's report released in January show there is a belief that perjury was committed by one or more witnesses. The United States is authorizing hundreds of millions of dollars more in military aid for Ukraine, the same day that China's president began his high-profile trip to Russia. China's President Xi Jinping and Russia's President Vladimir Putin called each other dear friends as they began a series of face-to-face meetings at the Kremlin today. China's leader is expected to use the high-profile visit to renew calls for a ceasefire in Ukraine, but U.S. officials say any agreement must also call for the removal of Russian forces from Ukrainian territory. Still to come at 10, hundreds of the world's top scientists issue a dire warning.
Plus, we'll check out the moment a recently discovered World War II mine exploded.
Get fresh Hy-Vee chicken breasts for just $1.97 a pound. Tuesday only at Hy-Vee. That's right, your daily deal for Tuesday is fresh Hy-Vee chicken breasts for just $1.97 a pound. Only at Hy-Vee.
Can we really trust him with a car?
Of course we can, Lindsay, with AAA auto insurance.
Wait, AAA has auto insurance?
We do home insurance, too.
Switch and save on AAA auto insurance and expect something more.
What? What's that? Corned beef? Ooh, melty stuff. Sauerkraut? Plus Thousand Island? On special bread? Oh, got it. That's Arby's Reuben. Arby's, we have the meats.
Good news. This just in. Your Ford dealers have fresh shipments of their award-winning SUV lineup in stock and ready for you to drive home today. Get your hands on a new Ford, the #1 brand in SUV owner loyalty, including Bronco Sport with standard GOAT modes and Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV. And now, here's more good news. Choose FlexBuy on Escape and get 2.9% APR financing for 66 months plus $1,500 FlexBuy cash.
At Lawton Cates, we connect you with top medical specialists after a serious injury. We hold the insurance company responsible for your lost wages and hospital bills, and we won't accept anything less than what you deserve. Your life counts. Lawton Cates.
Remember this, and the false elector scheme. In Wisconsin, extremist Dan Kelly was the right-wing lawyer behind the scenes of it all. The bipartisan January 6th commission revealed Kelly advised Trump operatives as special counsel to overturn the will of the people and overthrow the election results. Kelly even went on tour promoting the big lie. On April 4th, vote like democracy depends on it, because it does.
Can we really trust him with a car?
Of course we can, Lindsay, with AAA auto insurance.
Wait, AAA has auto insurance?
We do home insurance, too.
Switch and save on AAA auto insurance and expect something more.
Get fresh Hy-Vee chicken breasts for just $1.97 a pound. Tuesday only at Hy-Vee. That's right, your daily deal for Tuesday is fresh Hy-Vee chicken breasts for just $1.97 a pound. Only at Hy-Vee.
Charles Barkley will have you hollering.
People think when you go out in public, you out to talk to them. They're like, what are you doing at the supermarket? I'm shopping, fool.
Plus, his secret to basketball success.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. A World War II naval mine found in a Croatian port has been detonated, according to local authorities. While the mine contained 690 kilos of explosives, it had been towed away from the port before being detonated a few miles off the coast. About 500 people from the nearest neighborhood have been evacuated for the duration of the operation. The mine was laid on the seabed by German forces during World War II, and it was discovered last year during the infrastructure works in the port. A Florida hotspot is considering further crackdowns on spring break following 2 deadly shootings this weekend. Miami Beach declared a state of emergency and enacted a midnight curfew after the shooting on Busy Ocean Drive. On Friday, 2 people were shot, 1 fatally, on the main tourist drag. Early Sunday, another person was shot and killed just blocks away, with unruly scenes like this now in a 3rd straight year. Miami Beach Mayor Dan Gelber says he wants to put an end to spring break mayhem.
My city doesn't need it.
We really don't need to be an all-night party town. We have all these other attributes, all these other amenities that attract people here, and plenty of places do really well without being an all-night, do anything kind of place.
When the curfew is in effect, alcohol sales at stores stop at 6 and restaurants close by midnight.
It was a wild weekend of lottery winners in Wisconsin. The biggest winner was a $1.5 million megabucks jackpot winning ticket, and that was sold in Prairie du Sac. In addition, a $350,000 super cash winning ticket was sold in Wisconsin Rapids, and a $23,000 Badger 5 jackpot winning ticket was sold in Antigo. Next at 10, a new climate report from hundreds of the world's top scientists issues a dire warning. Time is running out to save the planet. CBS's Tina Kraus reports.
The climate time bomb is ticking.
The head of the UN has been pressing scientists to serve up cold, hard facts to push governments into creating policies that curb climate change. Monday, they delivered a new report with a familiar warning.
We must move from climate procrastination to climate activation, and we must begin this today.
The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change published a summary filled with years of research from every corner of the globe, compiled since the Paris Climate Accord was struck back in 2015. Temperatures in recent years have stoked destructive storms and flooding, crop-killing heat waves, and deadly droughts. Climate scientists say urgent and sustained action is crucial this decade to prevent catastrophic consequences.
Renewable energy instead of fossil fuels, energy efficiency, green transport, green urban infrastructure, halting deforestation, ecosystem restoration.
The report reveals as global temperatures climb, the last 8 years of record-breaking heat will end up being the coolest in a generation, even if planet-warming fossil fuel emissions drop quickly.
Actions in this decade are critical for securing a sustainable future for all.
The calls for urgent intervention come as the world scrambles to shore up energy security after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, with countries in Asia and Europe turning to heavily polluting coal. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Today's report is expected to play a pivotal role when governments gather in Dubai in December for this year's UN climate talks.
Well, and check this out. Mysterious streaks of light were seen in the sky in the Sacramento area Friday night, shocking thousands of people who then posted videos on social media of the surprising sight. They say it was over in about 40 seconds. In an interview with the Associated Press, an astronomer at the Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics said he's 99.9% confident the streaks of light were from burning space debris. That would be kind of jarring to see up there.
That would be.
Yeah. It's not the X-Files. So
no.
I was about to say aliens. That's the first thing you got to say there.
It's aliens.
Absolutely. But hey, that was pretty cool.
What's cool is that we're going to be warming up, finally. Yes.
Folks,
give me
it is
50s.
spring, yes, and you know what? I'm come to deliver for you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
We are now looking at 50-degree temperatures. Many areas in southern Wisconsin even saw that for today to start off the first day of spring. So what's going to be happening for the rest of the week? Well, it's not just temperatures that are going to be pretty in line for the first week of spring, but it is that we are looking at a few opportunities to see some rain and potentially even some snow once this week comes to an end. So here's our current setup as of right now. We have a low pressure system, but it's stalled out front. So we are looking at potential opportunities later into tonight, transitioning into the overnight hours of seeing maybe a small little brief shower, but it will be over by the time you're heading out the door for tomorrow. So let's plan out Tuesday. Temperatures are going to be in the 30s throughout the morning. Cloud cover will stick around. On top of it, our high will be 50 degrees. So we are looking for many areas in southern Wisconsin to reach the 50-degree mark, but overnight we might see again that small band of rain that may develop into some snow for areas just north of Juneau, and that's because where the temperatures are already below freezing at that time. At 7 o'clock, we're looking at things to be relatively quiet. Temperatures will be in the 30s, 40s by lunchtime hour into the early afternoon. We're looking at the lower 50s, but many of us in southern Wisconsin are going to be in uniform to being into those lower 50s. Wind speeds will start to pick back up just a bit, so we will start to see some breezier conditions around Madison throughout much of our afternoon, but the evening commutes, we may see a couple of pop-up small banded showers. Now, this will be very isolated throughout the afternoon, but once we get to our Tuesday night, it is quiet once again, but rather mild. Into the lower 40s is going to hold firm as we are still looking for some warmer air starting to roll its way into Wednesday. So while we do have opportunities to see some showers early Wednesday morning, and then potentially once we get into our Wednesday afternoon as well, we could start to see some developments of showers just south of Madison. But later into the week is what we're going to be watching for. For these next small little systems that we can see from overnight to nights for Tuesday afternoon going into our Wednesday, not looking for much in terms of rainfall totals. But later into the week, we are watching a system that has given a lot of uncertainty and has been back and forth, but potentially could see some rain or even some snow developing for our Friday nights leading into our early Saturday morning, and we'll start to clear up once we get into our Saturday afternoon. So one thing to be watching for is right now, there hasn't been a whole lot of confidence or certainty exactly where that low is going to track, because if it tracks south, we're not going to be looking at much in terms of precipitation going into our Friday. If it tracks more north, like that one run did, well, we could start to see some wintry-like feels heading into our weekend. So our three things we'll need to know: we're looking for the 50s for tomorrow. We are also having some small opportunities of showers, but again, Friday is going to be, or Thursday morning and Friday night are going to be our best opportunity to see potentially either rain or even some snow. But outside of it, the good news is temperatures will be into the lower 50s more times than not for the next few days. On top of it, we are going to see those 40s, so really seasonable weather is what we're experiencing on the surface. We just got to watch for that system come Friday.
And coming up in sports, Badger football is back. Well, almost. While the guys can't wait until spring practice kicks off later this week. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
You are a friend, a neighbor, a family at heart. We are Gruber Law Offices, your ally and your advocate. If you've been injured in a trucking accident, you need Gruber Law Offices to fight for you. One call, that's all.
At Stanton Optical, independent eye doctors are available for eye exams whenever you need one. You should have seen me before I got mine. You're so quiet. Are you mad at me? Book your free same-day eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
Two candidates for Supreme Court. Two very different beliefs. Judge Janet Protasewicz. She believes women should have the freedom to make their own decisions on abortion. Extremist Dan Kelly. He supports the 1849 law that takes away women's rights and criminalizes abortion, even in cases of rape, incest, and health of the mother. So who represents you? An extremist or a common sense judge? Vote by April 4th.
This is how legends are made. Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all Silverado 1500 pickups. And current Chevy owners get $2,500 cash allowance on this Silverado with a turbo high-output engine. Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
Oh, the weather. What's the chance of rain tomorrow?
Ooh, 80%. I make it rain. I make it rain.
Speaking of making it rain, at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, we have an average 95% payout, which leads you to more chances of playing longer and more chances to win big. Play longer, win more, chances are you're gonna like it.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Dad always said I was special, that I would do something big someday. But for a while, we were just worried about getting to tomorrow. At UW Health, we found the team that made it their mission. Not just to get me through the day, but to give me a new life and a new kidney. Now, my future is infinite. UW Health. Remarkable.
Stanton Optical is the best value in eye care. We did the math, people. For $79, you get all this. That costs over $400 at LensCrafters, over $200 at Walmart, and over $150 at America's Best. When it comes to value, Stanton Optical is the top bird.
Every single day, we help families that have been tragically impacted in truck crashes. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. Truck crash? Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Since around 5:30 yesterday, the party hasn't stopped for the Wisconsin women's hockey team. Late last night, they arrived back in Madison with a fire truck parade to LeBron after winning the program's 7th national title. Then today, that celebration continued with a welcome home get-together with thousands of their closest friends. And after becoming national champs and making NCAA history, the reality really hasn't sunk in yet for this group.
Drove home last night with my wife, so it was a nice space to be in, and we probably said to each other, I don't know, 20, 30, 50 times, like, can't believe just what happened.
For some reason, this one, like, I still just keep saying, what just happened? Like, did we really just win? Like, I can't wrap my head around it for some reason. I think it was just so, like, emotional and difficult. And now to just have it lifted off our shoulders, it's like hard to believe.
The final USCHO.com poll was released, and as expected, Wisconsin claimed the top spot. The Badgers entered the weekend ranked 4th and left Duluth #1 after winning that 7th national championship. Been a huge part of this year's title, the play of Cami Kronich. Between the pipes, the senior tender was a brick wall, stopping 31 shots in the Frozen Four final to shut out Ohio State. The best part about her performance, Kronich waited for her opportunity, sitting on the bench for 3 years, and then made the most of her opportunity in her final year in Madison.
Just really happy for Cami. She spent a lot of time watching, improving, getting better. And, you know, when she got on the big stage, she showed everybody that through hard work and determination, waiting for my opportunity, good things can happen.
To see her succeed, get the most outstanding player, have a shutout in the national championship game. Like, she barely played games, and now she's getting a shutout. That's unbelievable. You can't write it up better than that.
Luke Fickell described this week as kind of like leading up to Christmas morning, saying he wants the week to speed up, so it's Saturday already. Saturday, as in Wisconsin football's spring ball opener, the first of 15 practices over the next 34 days to officially kick off that new era of football in Madison. And of course, there are a lot of new coaching staff, new scheme, and new teammates. But after going through all off-season workouts together, well, these guys can't wait to get practice going.
Opportunity to see what our offense is going to look like, what our team's going to look like, and I think a lot of the guys are excited to see what the change is going to be, how it's going to be out there, you know, how are we going to look and how are things going to feel. And it's an exciting time all around. I think a lot of guys are really thrilled for it.
Coming back from spring break, you know, even before spring break, I just been ready to put on the pads. You can't really do too much as a lineman without physical being behind it, so I'm ready to get physical.
And Danielle Hart has been selected to play in the Athletes Unlimited Professional Volleyball League. The former Badger middle blocker earned first-team All-Big Ten honors last season, where she led the team in hitting percentage and blocks per set. We're back after this.
At Pick and Save, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we do up to a 27-point inspection to check for things like color and scarring. Because when it comes to fresh, higher standards mean fresher produce. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
Save big money and get 11% off everything. Menards carries a great selection of blinds and shades that provide the perfect fit for windows of all sizes. Get room darkening cordless 1-inch vinyl blinds trimmed to width for free. Now just $9.99. Continue your renovations with top appliance brands, including KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and Criterion. Get 11% off your entire appliance purchase.
Save big money at Menards.
Habitat Restore is full of great finds at great prices for a great cause. With a unique inventory of high-quality, low-cost goods, you can save money and feel good about your purchase. Shop Restore Dane County today.
Lake Ridge may be a new name, but it isn't a new bank. It's one built on over a century of community commitment. One equipped with all the knowledge and resources of 145 collective years of experience. Monona Bank and State Bank of Cross Plains are coming together as one. As Lake Ridge Bank, we're doing more together for you.
Dan Kelly is extremely corrupt. 6 times Kelly ruled in favor of a plaintiff with close ties. He was on their advisory panel. He took contributions from their board, and all 6 times Kelly ruled in their favor. Another time, Kelly changed his mind about whether to judge the Zignego case after pocketing $20,000 in contributions from the Zignego family. Corruption, extremism, that's Dan Kelly.
I lost these. When you need a light, under pressure, it's gotta be Superior.
When your door is always open, so is the fridge. At Pick and Save, however you shop, in-store, pickup, or delivery, you get the same great prices, deals, and rewards. That's a win-win-win. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
State Supreme Court debate, Tuesday at 4 p.m. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Finally, tonight, time for some of us to date ourselves. CDs, remember those?
I'm too young.
You are. Well, for the rest of us, they're turning 40 years old in the U.S. The first commercial compact disc was released in Japan back on October 1st, 1982, but they didn't make it over to the U.S. until the next year. The CD served as an alternative to the larger vinyl records and bulkier cassette tapes. When the first CD came out, it could hold up to 74 minutes of music.
Love those CDs.
I think they're making a comeback.
Where?
Get out of here.
I just want to know
I
where.
had it up to here.
They're not.
Oh my gosh.
Well, on that note, that'll do it for us. Do something good. Play those CDs like you love them like crazy, and we'll see you back tomorrow.